You've been told that Denis Law's death was tragic and sad, but the real story might surprise you. While many sources incorrectly claimed he died in 2005, Denis Law actually passed away on 17th of January 2025 at the age of 84, following a courageous public battle with dementia. His death wasn't tragic at all. Instead, his final years showed the same grace and dignity that defined his entire life. Far from being sad, Denis Law's story is one of the most inspiring tales in football history. Born into grinding poverty in Aberdeen, Scotland in 1940, Denis was the youngest of 7 children to George, a fisherman, and his mother, Robina. This harsh environment wasn't just difficult, it was defining. Denis famously went barefoot until the age of 12, when he finally received his first pair of second-hand shoes. At 9 years old, he was given his first football boots, which were hand-me-downs from his best friend and neighbour, George Geddes. These weren't just footnotes in his story, they were the very experiences that forged his incredible toughness and determination. The challenges didn't stop there. As a young player, Denis was small, slight, and wore glasses to correct a severe squint called strabismus. When Huddersfield Town manager Andy Beattie first met him, he reportedly called Denis weak, puny, and bespectacled. But Denis underwent surgery to correct his vision problem, and he later said this was a life-changing moment that made him instantly more confident in social situations. Here's where Denis's story becomes truly remarkable. With no money for proper equipment or a field, he would kick a bald tennis ball or a tin can along cobbled streets and against curbstones on his way to school. He later said this practice was where he developed his incredible ball control and ability to move in tight spaces. His mother's kitchen became a training ground too. Denis would hang a ball of wool from the laundry rack and invent drills to improve his heading ability. This improvised training, born from necessity, created a resourceful and brilliant playing style that combined determination, creativity, and spectacular flair. What makes Denis's childhood transformation even more remarkable is how these early struggles shaped his character beyond football. The poverty he experienced wasn't something he tried to hide or forget. Instead, he carried those lessons with him throughout his career, never losing touch with his roots or the community that raised him. His ability to connect with supporters from all backgrounds came from this authentic understanding of hardship. While other players might have distanced themselves from their humble beginnings once they achieved success, Denis remained proudly connected to Aberdeen and the working-class values that shaped him. The improvised nature of his early training also developed something that modern football academies struggle to teach their players today. Denis learned to be creative under pressure, to find solutions when resources were limited, and to turn disadvantages into strengths. When he practiced with that bald tennis ball on cobbled streets, he was unknowingly developing the quick thinking and adaptability that would make him one of the most unpredictable and exciting players of his generation. This street football wisdom gave him an edge that couldn't be replicated in sterile training environments. Denis Law's journey from poverty to professional football is an amazing story of sheer determination. What aspect of his early life do you find most inspiring? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more untold stories of football's greatest icons. Denis began his professional career at Huddersfield Town in 1955. Signing his first contract at just 15 years old and making his debut at 16, becoming the club's youngest ever player at the time. Under manager Bill Shankly, who immediately recognised Denis's immense potential, he was moved to an attacking position. And, as Shankly said, Denis was never seen in defence again. His talent soon attracted major clubs, leading to a series of transfers that repeatedly broke British transfer records. In 1960, he moved to Manchester City for $55,000, setting a new record for transfers between English clubs. After just one season, he made a rare move for a British player by joining Italian club Torino for $100,000, which set a new British record for a transfer to a foreign club. Though he played well in Italy, the defensive style didn't suit his attacking nature, and he found it difficult to settle. In 1962, Manchester United manager Matt Busby brought him back to Manchester for a third record-breaking fee of $115,000, where Denis would spend the most iconic 11 years of his career. It was at Manchester United that he truly became a legend, earning the nicknames the King and the Lawman from adoring fans. His remarkable goal-scoring record of 237 goals in 404 appearances places him third on the club's all-time list, behind only Wayne Rooney and Sir Bobby Charlton. Denis's legacy became forever linked with Sir Bobby Charlton and George Best, forming the legendary partnership known as the United Trinity. Denis's arrival in 1962 brought him together with Charlton, a veteran of the Busby Babes, while George Best's emergence in 1963 completed this iconic trio. The three first played together in a starting lineup on 18th of January 1964 against West Bromwich Albion, where all three scored, with Denis netting 2 of the 4 goals. Their partnership created a formidable force that transformed Manchester United into a dominant power in the 1960s. Together, they led the club to major honours, including the FA Cup in 1963 and 2 First Division titles in 1965 and 1967. Their crowning achievement was leading Manchester United to victory in the 1968 European Cup final, making them the first English club to lift this prestigious trophy. The most incredible proof of their combined brilliance is that all 3 players won the Ballon d'Or, the award for the world's best player, during their time together. Denis Law won it in 1964, Sir Bobby Charlton in 1966, and George Best in 1968. This achievement shows how their partnership elevated each of them to the pinnacle of individual excellence. Denis's career was filled with remarkable individual achievements. His 1964 Ballon d'Or win made him the only Scottish player ever to receive this honour. The voting results show he won by a decisive margin, accumulating 61 points, well ahead of second-place Luis Suarez with 43 points. He holds the Manchester United club record for most competitive goals scored in a single season, an incredible 46 goals during the 1963-64 season. This record remains unbroken today. He also holds the club record for the most hat-tricks. Even the difficult moments in Denis's career revealed his deep humanity. Despite his crucial role in helping United reach the 1968 European Cup final, an injury kept him out of the squad. While his teammates achieved the club's greatest triumph, Denis was recuperating in a Manchester hospital. The next day, Sir Matt Busby visited him at his bedside and brought the European Cup with him. This moment shows how deeply connected Denis was to his team's success, even when he couldn't be part of their greatest moment. The final goal of his club career provides another example of his emotional depth. After rejoining Manchester City in 1973 for one last season, Denis scored a back-heeled shot against his former club, Manchester United, in a match that confirmed United's relegation to the second division. Though it was pure footballing instinct, it brought him immense personal sadness. Denis later reflected, "I have seldom felt so depressed as I did that weekend." He asked to be substituted immediately after the goal, showing the profound connection he felt to Manchester United, even while playing for their rivals. On the international stage, Denis was equally brilliant, representing Scotland from 1958 to 1974. He earned 55 caps and scored 30 goals, a record he jointly holds with Kenny Dalglish as Scotland's all-time top international goalscorer. His final international appearance was at the 1974 FIFA World Cup finals in West Germany, where he helped Scotland compete on the world's biggest stage. What made Denis special wasn't just his goal-scoring ability, but his complete approach to the game. He combined technical skill with physical bravery, often throwing himself into challenges that other players would avoid. His famous acrobatic celebrations became as iconic as his goals themselves, showing a joy and passion for the game that was infectious. Teammates often spoke about how Denis could lift the entire team's spirit just by his presence on the pitch. In his later years, Denis's life became a powerful testament to his character. In August 2021, he made a courageous public statement announcing his diagnosis with mixed dementia, including both Alzheimer's disease and vascular dementia. In his statement, he spoke openly about his deteriorating memory and asked for understanding and patience from the public. He wanted to address his condition while he was still able to, knowing there would come a time when he wouldn't understand what was happening to him. This act of vulnerability was met with an incredible outpouring of support from across the footballing world. Both Manchester United and Manchester City released statements of love and admiration. Former players like Harry Maguire and Sir Geoff Hurst offered their support. The public response showed the deep and widespread affection for Denis that went beyond traditional club rivalries. Beyond football, Denis leaves a lasting legacy through the Denis Law Legacy Trust, a registered Scottish charity that provides free sports and creative activities for young people in Aberdeen, his home city. The Trust's mission is to empower young people to become confident, capable, and responsible citizens, with the goal of reducing youth crime and antisocial behaviour. The charity's main programme, Street Sport, delivers weekly sports and creative activities in areas where young people need support, using mobile sports equipment in local parks and car parks. The Trust also runs the Positive Destinations project, helping young people aged 16 to 19 gain basic skills and qualifications for employment. This project has worked with local employers and even adapted to provide remote support for young people affected by imprisonment. Denis's career represents an era when football was measured by passion, grit, and authentic connection to community rather than commercial value. His contract from 1962 to 1973 totaled £204,028 over 11 years. When adjusted for inflation, this equals approximately $3.6 million in today's money. This contrasts sharply with modern footballers who often earn between $100,000 and $500,000 per week. But Denis's true worth wasn't measured in pounds. His nicknames were given by supporters who genuinely revered him as the king. In his time, a player's value came from their character and on-field brilliance. His philanthropic work through the Denis Law Legacy Trust shows a legacy rooted in human values rather than commercial success. Denis Law's story is the opposite of tragic. His extraordinary success came directly from his difficult upbringing in Aberdeen. The hardships he faced weren't obstacles, but the very forces that shaped his relentless drive and brilliant playing style. His professional career, especially his partnership with Sir Bobby Charlton and George Best, created one of football's greatest dynasties. Most importantly, his final years showed the same grace and dignity that defined his entire life. Denis Law's worth as a player and as a man isn't defined by money, but by the priceless legacy of determination, passion, and humility he leaves behind. His story will forever be treasured as a symbol of sport's enduring power to inspire generations and celebrate the human spirit. Rather than ending in sadness, Denis Law's life stands as a shining example of how greatness can emerge from the most challenging circumstances and how true legends are measured by the positive impact they have on others.